Hello everybody, my name is Mango Thunderslice, and today's going to be another video when I just kind of smoke a joint and talk about the nature of reality, since I really enjoyed it last time, and I actually feel like the message came across a little more organically than it otherwise might have if I had gone with just the full production format, you know. And honestly, at this stage, you know, I think what the human race needs is not necessarily a boatload of new information to process. It's really just to process the information that's already been delivered. Not just, you know, my videos, but just I feel like there's a lot of people out there saying some really important things, and I think if people were to really resonate with that internally, they might gain a lot more than by searching ever more for new types of conspiratorial information. You know, I was just listening to Max Egan, you know, talk about what divides us, enslaves us, and just the whole nature of the narrative being propagated right now. And, you know, really the final battle is not out there, right? The final battle is inside the human. Right? Like, in one sense, if they keep us all sick, we're going to be stuck with the medical industrial complex. Like, that's just a fact. If you don't have control over your own body, you need somebody to somebody to come and help you. And, you know, I'm what's interesting is actually earlier this week I was actually in the hospital for the first time in probably a decade. And you know, it's ironic, you know, in one sense, because I'm always talking about how we don't need allopathic medicine. And, you know, I don't necessarily believe that we don't need allopathic medicine. I just want it to be in its proper role, right? I want it to limit its perceived authority to the sphere in which it actually has authority, which is responding to an injury, right? Again, if I go and break a bone, or in this case, my gallbladder goes on strike and I'm vomiting violently without cease for over 12 hours straight, you know, in the most miserable night of my life that I can remember, you know, that's a situation when I decide, you know, maybe I'll go to the hospital. But the thing is, the hospital, they gave me some stuff, you know, rehydrated my body because I was like dehydrated to the point of like hallucinating, right? You know, they got me rehydrated and they gave me some, you know, painkillers and anti-nausea stuff, and then it kind of went away and they did an ultrasound and, you know, did a blood test, and they didn't find anything. So, you know, in one sense, the drugs that the hospital has do things, yes. I'm not going to deny that the drugs don't do things, you know. But in the other sense, they don't know what went wrong. They just, you know, like usual, they have a Latin term to name it, epigastritis, and, you know, they give you the drugs and they move on. Problem solved, right? But still, they don't solve the problem, and you know, the thing is, they don't even claim to be in that role. So when people foist them into that role and expect your doctor to help keep you healthy, that's not their role. And, you know, when they're doing their job properly, they're not even trying to take on that role, you know, because that's not something that, again, the hospital's to respond to a problem. Okay, life shouldn't be a problem. You should know how to keep yourself vital, and that's kind of the lesson that I take away. Is just that I've got to stop eating fried food, right? I've been, you know, I'm mostly vegan, but I've been a junk food vegan. I eat a lot of fried vegetables and still, you know, been drinking a fair amount of beer. But that's, you know, that's got to change. And this was, if anything, my body giving me a final note that all the fried food and beer over the last, you know, couple months is like, it's too much. And, you know, basically, like I said, my gallbladder went on strike. And so while I appreciate the assistance, the goods and services that those people at the hospital provided me, very friendly hospital here in Roseville, or, you know, that's the hospital we went to, you know, but still, I don't expect them to fix me. I'm not a victim, right? It's my fault that I was in the hospital. It's not like this, oh, something happened to me and I need help, you know. I did need help, okay, but something happened to me, but it was me, okay? It was cause and effect. I am both, right? And this is the thing, is that, you know, I have the capacity to respond, you know, in an efficacious manner. I have a power to respond and have things actually change, because I have that relationship with my body. I know what's going on inside. This is the realm of my authority, right? But people don't have that. They think that they're helpless. They think that, and people who I respect, whose intellect I esteem, you know, people within my own family, people, you know, friends, you know, it's just, they're victims of their authority complex. They're always waiting for someone else to tell them what's going on. Like, you know, and I suppose one of the themes that I'm just trying to reiterate in all these videos is you shouldn't wait for someone to tell you. You should go and find out. Like, you know, I appreciate all the information that people bring me, but that doesn't suffice for my own experience and my own research, right? And how much we're able to actually go and achieve that, to research or explore, you know, basically, you know, look into anything, is a function of how much surplus energy we have, right? If we are constantly dragging ass, right, just no energy, just lethargic, you know, drowsy all the time, you got no surplus energy to look at anything, right? You've got barely enough energy just to make it through the day. What the hell do you care about any of this big stuff off in the distance, right? It doesn't matter. So people get locked in a rat race, and it just goes on and on and on. That's the cube, right? That's sin. That's the time. Like, you know, it's basically in fulfilling the cycles. There's no actual return to self. There's no actual return to the inner worlds, right? There's no return to that wisdom that we're born with. You know, and what is it throughout the year, right? Our whole year. And this is really what the whole scam of Rome and the Julian calendar, right? Is that they've made this calendar. We used to have all these holidays, right? Holy days, real, true holy days that were attuned to the lunar cycle and the solar cycle and the harvest cycle. And this was literally our sustenance. We were pouring our energy into the earth, and the earth was pouring its energy back into us. And this was the virtuous cycle that defined, you know, basically our culture. At least, you know, us Irish and Northern Europeans, and basically everything that they're trying to say is ancient pagan Satanism, right? It was actually the true Christianity. It was actually the real religion that's in tune with the cycles of nature and the cycles of the planet. And when the whole conflict that I've described between Rome, the Church of Rome, and the church at Tara in Ireland, you know, the whole conclusion of that was that basically everybody moved over to the Julian calendar, right? And what do we have with the Julian calendar? Christmas means nothing, right? Thanksgiving means nothing. We've got all these holidays. This is Labor Day weekend, you know, basically celebrating the fact that we all work, I suppose, and we should respect the fact that we work, you know. But then again, how many people are actually doing work? This is the thing. And what really just ties back into my whole life and just the whole micro-macro, as above, so below situation is that there's only a small component of the human species that's actually on the frontier, that's actually thinking and exploring and perceiving and doing new shit, okay? The rest of the species, you know, again, not saying that they're worthless, but they're waiting for other people to give them the tune, right? They're not going to make the song. They'll start singing along, but none of them will ever write a song, none of them will ever play the music. Alright, so it's like we place way too much emphasis on what everybody else is doing. And, you know, what everybody else is doing is following the calendar, the Julian calendar. We roll from one meaningless holiday into the next. Everybody gets drunk, everybody barbecues and slows their gut down with all this flesh. And, you know, and they wake up and they go to work, and, you know, it's just rinse and repeat, right? And this cycle just weakens us. And what do they call each 7-day cycle? They call it a week, right? And by the end of it, we are weakened. And we're weakened by the time we make it to the weekend. You know, and of course the 7 days are in deification to the gods, the planets, you know, and they're basically just controlling all the energy, right? Everything that we do is predictable. They know how to basically capture the energy and profit from it, right? And so the calendar, literally time, And the model of time that we're using is literally what contains us, in the sense that we never have any time besides getting drunk and eating a bunch of ribs on these, fake holidays that celebrate nothing anymore, right? Labor Day, is anybody, right, Antifa is the only one going out and celebrating Labor Day by promoting communism in the streets, right? It's just, I just have to laugh, man. That's all you really can do, because, there's people out there, also the doomsday cult, just screaming their heads off because they haven't gotten the joke yet. Thinking that the elite still are pulling the cards out of the deck at this point. Guess what, brothers? Guess what, sisters? The elite are not pulling the cards anymore. I'm pulling the cards. You're pulling the cards. Everybody who determines to be a sovereign entity on this plane is pulling the cards for their own universe now, and there is a critical mass that's been reached to the point where nobody can control the grand script anymore. It's a free-for-all, and that's a beautiful thing. That's an anarchist wet dream. That's the greatest thing that could possibly happen, and it's already happened. So anybody who's crying and whining about this or that group, secret society, I don't give a shit, okay? We still got to address these situations, but I need to make clear that the problem is not the problem. The problem is your attitude about the problem. Do you understand? Just like Captain Jack Sparrow, right? At this point, we've got so much momentum, we've got so many resources, and still there's people whose just whole modality is just going out there and just, oh my God, they're going to get us, the elite are going to get us, oh, look at this new scheme they've cooked up. I don't care. I know all their schemes, because all their schemes is the same scheme. They've been playing it for 2,000 more years. It's like, how many times can you pull the same script and still have people be shocked? Anyway, I guess I've made the real point there. I don't really have any huge political insight today beyond that, but just to understand that it's what do we make time for? We make time for boxing matches, and we make time for football games, and we make time for fake holidays, but nobody actually appreciates themselves, nobody actually enjoys themselves, nobody actually enjoys the company of their family, nobody actually resonates with real principles that the holidays founded on. I mean, this is what our real culture is, and it still exists. It's just that it gets no credit anymore, and what people are celebrating as white culture, right? It's really, that's what they're talking about, is that it's not worthless. Okay, we built an entire world based on having trust in one another, and so if we lose that, we lose fuck all, we lose everything. Okay, so it's kind of important to regenerate that and to establish that communication. And again, the prime thing here is in here and between us, right? So that's what we need to focus on keeping strong. Defeating the Illuminati, putting even John Podesta in jail. Do you really think let's assume that John Podesta goes to jail, he was behind bars for, all this, abuse of children, whatever, and then the Clinton Foundation goes down, but the human species still stays in a state of rabid duality, attacking itself. What is the point? What is the victory there? Do we gain a victory if we're rabid, bloodthirsty monsters by the time the revolution's over? We gain nothing. In fact, we've just started the cycle all over again. And, the people who control the world, a lot of them still, when they got into it, they had ideas that they were doing the right thing, So people can be led by false intentions, but it's just, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Are you gonna get scared? Are you gonna say, oh no, it wasn't me, oh yeah, I'm sorry, master, bow down? Like John McCain and Paul Ryan. This is just all the shills, all the fake people are out there just promoting just the division narratives, and it's so transparent. Everybody who's on the true revolution is promoting unity, harmony among the species, among all the species, because that's the truth. That's the God vibration, the Christ vibration, Christ consciousness. I don't give a shit what you call it. That's what paradise is. And we're the generation that's going to build paradise, and nothing's going to stop us, baby. So, you with us or not? Cheers.